Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier, and welcome to Fears to Fathom, the first in an episodic series of horror games where you're home alone, fending for yourself against whatever lurks in the darkness. You know what they say about being home alone? Just set up some traps like in that movie, right? Paint buckets, nails on the stairs, maybe a shotgun to the face. Problem solved. But this isn't a comedy. This is real terror. I didn't want to share this story on Reddit just for people to call it fiction. I don't even know where to start, so I guess I'll begin at the beginning. Segment 2, 100 words. Excuse my lack of good storytelling skills, I don't talk very good, I guess I'll just start. It was the middle of summer when this all happened. My parents had left for the weekend due to a work trip, which meant I was completely alone for the entire weekend. They went on vacation without me, leaving me to fend for myself. I should mention that my sleep schedule was absolutely destroyed around this time. I would sleep and wake up at just about any random time of day. I had plans to fix that terrible schedule, but my habits kept me awake at all hours. That evening, I woke up around 8 p.m. after taking what I thought would be a quick nap. A nap that late in the day? Yeah, my sleep schedule was completely messed up. The alarm that woke me was panic-inducing, one of those jarring sounds that immediately puts you on edge. I found myself looking around the room, trying to get my bearings. There was a book on my nightstand, and I could see it was getting dark outside. The house felt different when you're alone. Every shadow seems deeper. Every sound seems louder. It's amazing how quickly isolation can make you paranoid. I checked my phone and saw a text from my mom. "Hi honey, hope you're doing well. No need to order anything for dinner. I already made you lasagna this morning. Check the fridge. Love you." Then there was another message asking about my friend Kim, which I had completely forgotten about. I quickly texted back that I'd probably see him tonight. I also got a message from my friend Josh saying his parents were out for the night, asking if I wanted to come over to play Mario Kart. I told him I'd let him know, but I couldn't promise anything since I might have plans. Josh texted back saying he might have plans with Nat anyway. Nat, that guy who would abandon his bro at the drop of a hat. Don't ask me why, but I went straight to my parents' room first. I didn't consciously decide to go there, but somehow I found myself standing in their doorway. Maybe I was looking for money, or maybe I was just being nosy. Their room always felt off limits when they were home, but now it was just another empty space in an empty house. I looked around briefly, but there was nothing interesting there. Just the usual parental stuff. I made my way back downstairs, remembering the lasagna Mom had mentioned. My stomach was growling, and I hadn't eaten since earlier that morning. I found the lasagna in the fridge. It was cold, obviously, since it had been sitting there all day. I threw it in the oven to warm it up, setting the timer so I wouldn't forget about it. The house felt so quiet while I waited. Even the familiar hum of the refrigerator seemed louder than usual. I found myself listening for sounds that shouldn't be there, sounds that would indicate I wasn't as alone as I thought I was. While the food was heating up, I noticed something that made me pause. There was someone in my driveway. I could see them through the window, just standing there, not moving. It was dark enough that I couldn't make out who it was or what they were doing. They seemed to be just watching the house. I tried to get a better look, but the angle was wrong. Were they looking at me? Could they see me through the window? The whole situation felt wrong. Why would someone just stand in my driveway like that? I decided to ignore it for now and focus on my dinner. The oven timer went off and I retrieved my lasagna. It smelled amazing. Mom always was a great cook. I decided to eat at the kitchen island, even though it wasn't really designed for eating. There was nowhere for your knees to go, and it wasn't a proper table, but it was convenient. I turned on the TV to have some background noise while I ate. The whole concept of eating in complete silence seemed so boring and depressing. I needed something to distract me from the empty house and that nagging feeling that someone had been watching me from the driveway. I dug into the lasagna with my hands since I forgot to get utensils. It was delicious, but I have to admit I don't actually like lasagna that much. Mom knows this, but she made it anyway. Maybe she forgot, or maybe she was just trying to get me to eat something substantial while she was gone. Either way, I ate the whole thing because I was hungry and it was there. The food made me feel drowsy almost immediately. There's something about a big meal that just makes you want to curl up and sleep, especially when you're already tired from your messed up sleep schedule. I got a text from Mason, not Josh. I had gotten confused earlier. Mason was asking if I wanted to hang out, but I had to tell him something came up. He mentioned that I had to come to Jessica's party tomorrow, which reminded me that I was supposed to be a social teenager with social obligations. I guess I'm in high school in this story. I noticed that I had left something open, a door or window maybe. I couldn't remember opening it, but there it was. I should probably close it, but first I needed to clean up from dinner. I noticed we had 2 back doors, which seemed suspicious to me. Why would anyone need 2 back doors? I was feeling so full and weighed down by all that lasagna. Who can eat a whole family-sized lasagna in one sitting? Apparently, I can. I got another text from Miles saying he'd see me tomorrow, telling me to chill out. I responded that everything was good and I'd probably just go back to bed. He asked about homework, but seriously, who does homework? What am I, a nerd? I decided it was time to close whatever door I had left open and maybe sit down for a bit. I went to my room and actually decided to do some homework. I know, I just said who does homework, but I figured I might as well be productive. It was 12:38 a.m. by the time I finished, which took me about a few hours. I don't have a computer in my room due to my internet habits that my parents disapprove of. They think I can't be trusted with unrestricted internet access in my bedroom. Fair enough, I guess. I have a big room but a small bed. After all that work, I figured I'd hit the hay and try to get some actual sleep. At 1:16 a.m. I got up to get some water. At least, that's what I told myself. I was definitely just getting water, nothing else. I made my way to the kitchen in the dark, trying not to turn on too many lights. The house felt different at night, longer shadows, creaking sounds, that feeling of being watched. There was an awfully loud clock somewhere that I'd never noticed during the day. Tick, tick, tick. It was almost hypnotic, but also annoying. I didn't like this feeling at all. Everything seemed amplified in the darkness, every sound seemed threatening. I heard something or thought I heard something. It could have been nothing, but in a house this quiet, every sound stands out. I tried to dismiss it as just the house settling or maybe a neighbor's cat outside. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. The feeling of being watched had intensified. I got my water quickly, drinking it down in big gulps. Water, the bringer of life, never tasted so refreshing. I had another glass and then one more. I was stalling, I realized. I didn't want to go back upstairs. I didn't want to be alone with my thoughts and paranoia. That's when I heard it clearly. A sound that definitely wasn't the house settling. It sounded like movement, like someone was outside. I tried to check my phone, but there was no signal. That's strange. I usually have full bars in the house. I wanted to call someone, anyone, just to hear another human voice. But with no signal, I was truly alone. I couldn't even reach out for help if I needed it. The isolation was complete. I started to panic a little. What if something was really wrong? What if someone was actually outside, watching, waiting? I made a terrible mistake. I went to the door and looked outside. There was someone there, a figure standing in the darkness, just at the edge of my vision. The moment I opened the door, everything went wrong. I don't want to describe what happened next, but let's just say it didn't end well for me. I had to start over, and this time I knew better. Rule number 1, don't open the door. Rule number 2, don't go outside. Rule number 3, don't trust anyone who shouldn't be there. This was my second chance, and I wasn't going to waste it. This time I was more careful. I avoided the parents' room entirely. That's where I had first seen him, the figure outside. I was more aware of my surroundings, more cautious about every movement. I noticed things I had missed before, shadows that seemed to move, sounds that didn't belong. The back door was cracked open, and I knew for certain that I hadn't left it that way. Someone had been in my house. Someone had been inside while I was sleeping, eating, doing homework. The thought made my skin crawl. I wasn't alone, and I never had been. I saw him clearly this time, a shadow moving past the window, a figure in my parents' room. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it over everything else. I wanted to call out for Mom and Dad, but they were hours away, enjoying their weekend trip. I was completely on my own. I had to be smart about this. I couldn't panic, couldn't make the same mistakes. I texted my mom, trying to sound normal. Hey Mom, just wanted to check in. Everything's fine here, just going to get some sleep. I hoped she wouldn't worry. I decided to follow my new rules. Don't go outside, just get some water if I needed it and avoid areas where I'd seen the intruder. But I could feel him out there, watching, waiting for me to make a mistake. I couldn't see him clearly, but I knew he was there. The feeling of being hunted was overwhelming. Every shadow could be hiding him. Every sound could be his footsteps. I got my water quickly and headed back upstairs. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being followed. Each step felt like it might be my last. I made it back to my room and tried to act normal. But nothing felt normal anymore. I checked my phone again, still no signal. How convenient. I wondered if he had done something to interfere with my communications. Did I close my door? I thought I had, but now I wasn't sure. In situations like this, your memory plays tricks on you. Everything becomes uncertain. I heard my name being called from downstairs, Miles. But I knew it wasn't anyone who should be in my house. Someone was trying to trick me into coming downstairs. Then I heard knocking at the door. A voice called out that it was my neighbor Paula, saying she'd been sent to check on me. She said someone had been creeping through the windows and that they were calling the cops. She told me not to answer the door no matter what he does. But how could I trust this voice? How did I know it was really Paula and not him trying to trick me? The knocking continued, more insistent now. Part of me wanted to believe it was help, but another part of me knew better. Trust no one. I realized I should have locked the door when I had the chance. But it was too late now. I could hear movement downstairs, and I knew he was inside. There was no option to lock the door from where I was. I would have to go back downstairs, and that's exactly what he wanted. I wasn't going to fall for that trap again. Instead, I stayed in my room, looking for somewhere to hide. The game gave me an option. Click to hide. I clicked it immediately. Hiding was my only option now. I had to disappear. I found a hiding spot and stayed perfectly still. I could hear him moving around downstairs, searching for me. Every creak of the floorboards made my heart race. Then I heard the voice again, claiming to be Paula. It's Paula at the door. Mom's so sorry, honey. Everything's going to be okay. But I didn't trust it. The voice sounded wrong, forced. It was him trying to lure me out. I stayed hidden, barely breathing, waiting for this nightmare to end. The red ominous glow I'd seen earlier was back, right outside my door. He was close. The neighbor's house lights were all on now, which gave me a small amount of hope. Maybe they really had called the police. Maybe help was coming. But I couldn't count on it. I had to assume I was on my own until proven otherwise. The voice kept calling to me, trying to sound concerned and helpful. But I trusted my gamer instincts. When something feels wrong, it usually is. I wasn't going to be fooled by fake concern or promises of help. I would wait it out no matter how long it took. Patience was my only weapon now. I could hear him trying different tactics, different voices, different approaches. He was persistent, I'll give him that. But I was more stubborn. I would not come out of hiding. I would not go downstairs. I would not open any doors. The waiting was torture. Every second felt like an hour. My legs were cramping from staying in the same position, but I didn't dare move. Any sound could give away my location. The house had become a battlefield, and I was fighting for my life with nothing but patience and determination. It was psychological warfare at its finest. Then I heard it, the sound of breaking glass. A window had been smashed somewhere in the house. He was getting more aggressive, more desperate. Maybe he was frustrated that his tricks weren't working. The breaking glass was probably meant to scare me into running, into making a mistake. But I held my ground. I knew that the moment I left my hiding spot, he would catch me. The sound of footsteps was getting closer. He was searching the house systematically, checking every room. It was only a matter of time before he found me. The footsteps stopped right outside my room. I could see that red glow under the door, brighter now. He was right there, just on the other side of the thin wooden barrier. I held my breath, tried to make myself as small as possible. The doorknob turned slowly. This was it. This was the moment of truth. Would my hiding spot be good enough? Would he find me? Time seemed to stop. Every heartbeat was thunderous in my ears. I closed my eyes and waited, praying to whatever gods might be listening that I would survive this nightmare. Suddenly, I heard new voices, real voices this time. Police! Open up! The cavalry had arrived. I heard running footsteps, shouting, confusion. The red glow disappeared from under my door. There was banging, more shouting, and then silence. After what felt like hours but was probably only minutes, I heard a gentle knock on my door. Miles? This is Officer Johnson. You're safe now. You can come out. This time, the voice felt real, felt trustworthy. I slowly emerged from my hiding spot, my legs shaking from fear and adrenaline. I had survived. The police officer explained that my neighbor Paula had indeed called them when she saw someone prowling around my house. They had caught the intruder trying to break in through the back door, the same door I had noticed was cracked open earlier. My instincts had been right all along. Someone had been watching me, stalking me, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. If I had opened that front door earlier, if I had trusted the fake voices, I might not have lived to tell the story. Sometimes paranoia saves your life. Segment 30, 100 words. That was legitimately terrifying. I haven't been in a situation in a horror game where I was that afraid to do anything in a long time. This game was fantastic at giving you a profound sense of helplessness. I didn't know what would kill me, but I knew that something was out there, and the moment it got me, I'd be dead. I felt that fear really well. I haven't felt true terror like that in a while, and it was such a simple concept but so well executed. There's another episode of this that I'm going to play next, so stay tuned for more terrifying adventures.